thing is, I love going to this convention. I think the comfortability with the location and the layout is a big reason also that I can deal with the crowd there.
Because you know where you're going, you know what you're doing.
Exactly. And they've had
Yeah.
the same layout for the last several years. But when I was asked like how do you deal with crowds at these conventions when you hate crowds, I finally kind of determined I don't think I have ever had a I know there are a lot of horror stories about conventions. But for me personally, when I go to these conventions, the people that I am around I feel are like my people. Like we're all there because we're into the fandoms and things. And the lexicon is nothing specific. Like they have All right, everybody, welcome back. March 17th today, which is a very important day. It's St. Patrick's Day, so make sure you're wearing your green, otherwise you're going to get pinched. But I am exempt from wearing green because today's my birthday.
I don't know if that really works like that,
It
but
totally
I
works like
guess
that. It's worked like that my entire life. So no, I
that's
don't.
what you thought it worked like. People
Yeah,
just
no,
didn't pinch
I
you.
don't have to wear green. I am exempt from it. I am wearing a black shirt. Actually, I got this from Brian and Laura. It's my Goku shirt.
Who
So
would have thought a Dragon Ball shirt?
yeah, back to Dragon Ball after we did Disney last time. Although today would have been appropriate to have a Disney shirt on. But anyway, so episode 20, it's the 20th episode on my birthday, and our story mode today is going to be called Crowded But Worth It. So, Crowded But Worth It, basically, what we're going to be going in and talking about is convention stories, theme parks. So, Austin's a huge Disney guy. We're going to talk about Disney, Universal, also the nostalgic fact that we always talk about. So here in Louisville, there is I don't even know if it's still called Kentucky Kingdom or
It's
not.
changed so many times, and not even
Dude,
just Kingdom. I'm sure you went to Kings Island.
no, I haven't been to Kings Island. I hate theme parks.
Really?
I hate theme parks. So,
Well,
um,
that was a field trip for us.
yeah,
So
well, that's fair. But so yeah, we'll go down the nostalgic rabbit hole a bit too, as always, and then also card tournaments and vending at those shows because I've done a little bit of that. So we're definitely going to be going down a few rabbit holes like we always do, but talking about these very crowded places that I personally don't like very much, but can deal with them in certain circumstances. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, I mean, you do Disney a lot. I mean, so you
yeah. Which
obviously don't
we'll
mind
get
it.
to that when we start the story mode. But the other thing we just kind of want to make a note about
Oh
is
yeah,
there was a little bit of an audio issue last time, but it is
I don't know
because
why. I have no idea.
yeah, whenever we went to load that and we started doing this virtual thing a little bit, I asked Chase. I said, Chase, do I sound the same as I did previous weeks?
All right, in the
Chase
grand
says,
scheme,
Chase says, yes,
well,
you
okay.
sound fine.
Look. Okay, he did sound fine whenever I was recording. It's obviously that he was not fine, but it was a whole kind of miscommunication breakdown. We started the thing, and there was stuff next to your mic, so I thought, But look, I work from home. I'm on meetings like nonstop.
My
I
mic got switched and I didn't realize it.
Yeah, whenever you do it we do it through Google Meet, you have to configure where your mic source is. And he had just gotten this webcam so that we can see each other. And basically, what ended up happening is the audio source was the webcam instead of his like awesome desk mic for gaming. So lesson learned. And we now have it all situated so Austin can sound like the nice little bird that he is.
It's also a good note to see that Chase's ears are getting up there with his age now that it is his birthday and he can hear the same.
Dude, that's unnecessary. I'm not like over the hill or nothing like that. What is considered over the hill? Is it 40? Is 40 over the hill?
I don't know, but you're closer to that than 30. All right, let's go to story
You're not
mode.
wrong. 37. You know what? I feel like she's going to kill me for this. But if 40 is over the hill, that means my sister's going to be knocking on that door. So, but all right, I ain't going to go there because she's going to kill me. Anyway, side quest. Side quest today. We're doing bonus level, which is our niche segment where today we're going to talk about collectibles, toys, things like that. And then we started this one a couple weeks ago, but kind of liked it. Split screen, where we talk about something very specific then and now. The last time we did this, it was on that Pokemon episode. But today we're going to be talking about arcades. So arcades then versus kind of the new age now aspect. And frankly, kind of how we're seeing some nostalgia come back because millennials rule the world. So if only we actually ruled the world. But
If only.
Right. All right. Anything else for our press start, or are we good to go?
No, I think we're good to go.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump into our story mode today. Crowded, but worth it. All right. So, look, I made it a point to break us down into different sections to try and keep us on track. Not that we always stay on track or anything like that, but let's start with kind of talking theme parks. So, in general, like when I think crowded places, in general, I hate them. I don't like being in crowded places. Not my cup of tea. But I think there are times that I will tolerate them. Theme parks for me is not technically one of them, even though I have gone to plenty of them. But Kentucky Kingdom is here in Louisville. Now, at one point in time, didn't Six Flags own it? Wasn't it?
Yeah, so back in the day, it was Six Flags. Like it
Well,
was
well, and
Six Flags
I
Kentucky
think it
Kingdom.
was Kentucky Kingdom something else first, then Six Flags came in.
So what I remember was it was Six Flags, which was owned by the Six Flags company that had them all over the place. You had the Dancing Man and all that on the commercials. You know
Yeah,
what I'm talking about?
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. The dude with
Yeah.
the face. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Kentucky. That was Six Flags.
Okay.
Six Flags ended up getting bought by, if I can remember right, and I hope I'm doing this right. It's the same. It's Paramount, which is what
Oh, like yeah, no, Warner
it
Brothers.
was.
Warner Brothers. Because you're talking about all the branding and stuff around Looney
Well,
Tunes and
no.
DC
So it
and stuff.
also so Cedar Point's a huge theme park. Like I've never been, but I know like Wayne's went.
Yeah,
Wayne's talked about how
it's like
great it
Northern
is.
Ohio, right?
Yeah, and it has like some of the best, like the most known roller coasters in all in like the world
I hate roller
and
coasters.
stuff like that. See, I don't. I like roller coasters. Like it has like Top Thrill Dragster stuff like that. It was bought by the same, I believe, if I'm remembering this right. It was bought by the same company that owned that park. Like
Gotcha.
they
Okay.
bought the theme park down here, and that's when it became just Kentucky Kingdom. And then now, if I remember right, it's actually owned by Dollywood.
Now it is?
I think so.
Now that's interesting to me.
I think I'm not 100% sure, which I'm sure I could look it up, but
Well,
I know at some point they've had a hand in it, and there's a lot of the same things. That's why you have like so Kentucky Kingdom has historically only been open from like March to like November.
oh right, yeah, it had a really
It's
tight
not
season.
anymore. Now it has a Kentucky. Now it has a entire like Christmas thing that they do.
Yes, yeah,
They have
Christmas theme.
mhm.
They did a Halloween thing, which I think they did the Halloween thing before, but I know there was a big
They've
Christmas
always
thing
done
this
the
past
Halloween
year.
thing, but it's changed a little bit now.
Yeah, well,
Um,
and that's the thing. Like going to school here in Louisville. Now I know you mentioned a second ago y'all did like field trips to Kings Island and stuff, but Kentucky Kingdom specifically, like that was schools always went there for different things. It also is a huge deal when the Kentucky State Fair is going on. But I mean, I I dealt with it when growing up because as a kid, people want to go to theme parks and that's what they want to do and and all that. And I guess I didn't mind crowds as much whenever I was a kid, but I mean, I still didn't really like them. But as an adult, I couldn't even dream or fathom going there now.
so whenever we were young, Wayne was probably he wasn't driving yet. Wayne was probably 15, I'd say. And I was now you can't do this nowadays because now it's a requirement that if you're under the age of 18, you have to have a parent in the park with you.
Yep, yep.
So whenever I was younger, so I was 12 or 13 because Wayne was 15 or 16. He wasn't driving yet. My mom would drop us off in the morning at like 10 or 11 o'clock, or somebody would drop us off at 10 or 11 o'clock, and we would literally be there until like
All
5.
all day long.
Yes.
See, dude, that right there, I'll tell you, that alone, that concept, it just tells you how different the world is now. Like
Yeah.
I don't know of anyone, and look, I acknowledge there's a lot of shenanigans and unsafe things that happen at Kentucky Kingdom. We hear about it all the time. But take that geography out of it. Just the idea of a 13 and 15-year-old being dropped off somewhere
Oh, and it wasn't just us. Like there would be days it would be me and him, but we would be meeting 5 or 6 other people up there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Like,
very common thing to do. I mean, it's kind of like me with the mall, 13, 14 years old, walking around outer loop and stuff. It just tells you how different the world is now compared to, because, I mean, my son's not old enough, and there's other circumstances there, but like, I could never imagine dropping a kid off at a theme park by themselves.
oh no, no, we would never do that.
Now,
So
so you love roller coasters. When you think OG Kentucky Kingdom, because I have no idea what they call them now. I know they went through a rebrand when Six Flags was there with the Warner Brothers stuff.
mhm.
But like, what was your like?
I actually
go-to-
haven't been to one since. Like, I haven't been to Kentucky Kingdom since the initial rebrand from Six Flags to Kentucky Kingdom.
Well, like,
I haven't been in that long.
but like the OGs, like Chang was one.
Never rode Chang. It's one of the only roller coasters I never rode. That's the only ride I never rode in that
That
park.
was like the one they were known for.
So I didn't love roller coasters back then.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't ride it. And I was only like, believe it or not, about that time before I hit high school, like, I was not very tall. Like, I was really short. Like, I got really tall between.
How tall are you? Because I know, I mean, you're tall.
I mean, I'm not like extremely tall, but I'm not short.
No, you're
like,
over
I'm
6 foot.
6'1".
Yeah, I'll say you're
I'm
over 6
6'1".
foot. Yeah. See,
But like,
I haven't grown since I was in 7th grade. So.
so I went from my 8th grade year, I was like 5'4",
Oh, you were a little bitty.
and then
Kevin Hart size.
and then my freshman year, I was 5'10".
Oh, well, yeah. There you go. There you go.
So like
That's a
little area.
that's a funny transition. You leave 8th grade.
Oh, Wayne was the same way.
Yeah, you leave 8th grade and you come back to either a new, obviously a new school all of a sudden, and then you're boom, jumped
Yeah.
up.
So that's I gained. So I was like right on the cusp of being able to ride Chang. Like, I could ride it, but like I wasn't like super over. But Wayne used to ride all the time. I loved T2.
Oh my gosh, I was so okay. Man,
You didn't like it?
No, so where your feet hang, all right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. All right, I didn't know you were going to say T2 was your favorite. Here's the thing. I don't like roller coasters. I didn't like roller coasters, but someone told me when I was probably 18, 17, 18, and I went with a buddy and his girlfriend and one of his girlfriend's friends. And they were like, we need to go ride a T2, da da da. I said, I don't do roller coasters. I don't like them. I'm scared to death of them. Well, then my buddy asked, now here's what's funny about this. I'll say the name. We don't need to get into the specifics on who they are, but the buddy I was with was Brad, that has a connection to Wayne's. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. I know who it is.
Yeah. So we went, and I said this, and Brad said, well, have you ever ridden a roller coaster? Well, here's the thing. That was a valid statement. I had never ridden a roller coaster and just had established I didn't like them. And I said, you know what? You make a valid point. But no, I don't like them. I'm not going to ride this roller coaster. Well, between Brad and his girlfriend, we made a deal that they'd buy me dinner that night because I was driving. They'd buy me dinner that night, and then his girlfriend's friend sweetened the pot a little bit with another piece of negotiation. And so I decided, okay, I'll ride this roller coaster. That's fine. Between dinner and the other, bit of negotiation, yes, I will happily ride a roller coaster. My first roller coaster was T2, where they put you in the harness thing and you're hanging with your feet upside down. And I'm going to tell you right now, worst experience of my life. As soon as it started, I closed my eyes and I didn't even want to open them. And then I'm getting tapped or kicked or something. And they're like, open your eyes, open your eyes. Well, here's the problem. When I decided to open them, we were on a loop going up this way, and since you're hanging upside down, I open my eyes and all I see is the sky. And I just closed my eyes again. I got off that roller coaster. I was super, super pissed. I was not happy. I changed our dinner location from Texas Roadhouse to Shogun. I said, no, you made me traumatize myself, so we're going somewhere, that, at least back then, that was what we considered bougie, was going to a hibachi, place. And then, but now in the grand scheme, was it worth it because of the free meal and some of the other stuff?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would argue. But no, I don't do roller coasters.
But I was T2 was a ride that I rode every single time we went.
Oh, man.
I like T2 a lot, actually. I will say it was funny, though, because and you can tell as the ride got older and how much you would jar, like your head would move and stuff like that. So like it got to a point like I had rode it so much like it didn't bother me at all. But nowadays I don't even know. Like there's some rides like I can't do if they're too rough. Like
Well,
so and it also like there's so going from Kentucky Kingdom over to Kings Island. You said you've never been.
no,
Excuse me.
never been to Kings Island.
So Kings Island's a lot of fun.
Is it?
I like
Is it in
Kings Island.
Cincinnati?
Mhm.
Okay, I knew it was close, or Columbus, or something like that. I knew. It
I
was
haven't
close.
been in a couple years, but there for a while, that was one of them. We would take a day trip. We would go up there because my wife doesn't ride roller coasters.
Oh, yeah,
She
see,
doesn't.
there you go.
But
See,
she loves theme
we
parks.
we can all go to a theme park, and then she and I can just sit idly by while
So
y'all
that's
go ride
actually
roller
what we
coasters.
did, especially now that Wayne's son's old enough that he can actually ride.
Oh,
He can
yeah.
he's like at that height that he can kind of start riding stuff now.
Right.
Um, he'll ride rides more. So since he rides, it gives us the enough, you know. So, but there's some rides like they don't. Most of them are out now. The Beast and Son of Beast and stuff like that. They're wooden roller coasters. Like they're
Yeah,
super rough.
I've heard of them.
Yeah,
And isn't Kings Island also known for like their water park stuff too? Or no? Am I mixing? No, Holiday World is the water
yeah.
park
Holiday
place.
World's the what?
See,
Holiday World only has like 3 roller coasters, and they
it's
have
all water stuff.
yeah.
Now, I will say, so again, crowded.
We actually, believe it or not, we have a lot of theme parks around us,
We
like within like
Oh, we do. I mean,
somewhat driving
when you think
distance.
about it, well, and that crowded but worth it in the sense that I will go to a water park. I do like water slides and all of that. Like I've been to Schlitterbahn down in Galveston with Quentin, which is like one of the largest water parks. So I will do water stuff. But here's the thing about roller coasters.
So, do you ride water roller coasters?
Like Mile High Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah, those. So yeah, those I don't mind because I mean, my first taste of actually that's a pretty solid transition into the fact that the first time I did that specifically was at um was at Disney, I believe, because doesn't Disney have? I know it's different now, but
It's now Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
yeah, but you go through, see all the characters, and then
Mhm.
right at the end it drops, and there's like a bunch of spikes, or there was.
Yeah, it used to be called Splash Mountain.
Yes. So I did that because I went to Disney for the first time when I was a little kid. I can't remember how old. I think I was maybe like 6 or 7, and
Oh,
I didn't mind that. I did not mind. I did not mind that.
I'm so that is where you have me. I will not ride around water roller coasters for anything.
Really?
I don't like. I don't like
I mean, are you
having.
worried about too much water getting in your nose? I mean, big target. So.
No, but I don't. I'm not big on like. I just don't like having wet clothes on all the time. Like if I go swimming,
That's okay.
I don't like having the wet clothes on. Like I will like as soon as I'm like okay, I'm done swimming, I will change clothes. Like
Yeah,
I don't like being in
the
wet
chafing is real.
clothes.
Yeah.
Well, that and then like especially like at Disney, like I wear shoes. Like I wear tennis shoes. If you ride those rides, your shoes are going to get wet, and then you have to walk around with wet shoes all day. So that's
true.
another problem.
I didn't think about that.
I'm just not big. I don't like that. So
Now,
I don't do it.
so jumping down from Kentucky down to Florida. I mean, with Disney, I mean, I for me, and Disney is your jam. So hold on, I'll let you get there. But my first time to Disney was when I was like 7, 8. Don't really remember a whole lot. I do remember messing with Tigger a whole bunch though. And but my memories of it really come from people telling me how it went. But Universal, I did go in high school for a school trip, and I really enjoyed Universal. But I know you like live at Disney these days. But when did you all ever go
So
when you were younger?
no.
Okay, that kind of explains why it's.
I didn't go to Disney until I was so me and Becca have been together for almost 6 years. So I probably didn't go almost 5 years ago.
Really
Was
okay.
the
I
first
didn't
time.
realize
Yeah.
that.
So COVID, we got married during COVID. We couldn't really do much. We actually had planned on going to Disney for our honeymoon. Couldn't do it. Ended up doing like a Gatlinburg trip because you can go to Gatlinburg and be completely outside, and
Oh yeah.
there's little things you can do and stuff like that.
Fun fact: I've never
Um,
been to Gatlinburg either.
I've been to Gatlinburg so much, which that's another park that just real quick tidbit is Dollywood.
Yeah.
that I was talking about a minute ago, it's in Gatlinburg.
Yeah. I knew that. I just haven't been
Gatlinburg is
there.
basically Dolly Parton's, like she owns everything.
You know,
So
my whole thing about Gatlinburg is the fact I've been out west, and I feel I would be disappointed by the Smoky Mountains, which is why I've never been there.
Gatlinburg's fun, man. Just it really is.
And
Like I think everybody should go.
topic of our episode, just crowded. Like it's just too crowded.
It is crowded. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
But the difference is like if you go out west, like everything's super expensive. I don't
True.
really spend that much extra money in Gatlinburg. Like everything's still
That's
pretty
yeah, that's a
manageable.
good point. Cost of living out
So-
there gets squirrely.
But going to Disney, like so about 5 years ago or so, we've been going, and we've went almost every year since. I think last year was the first time we haven't went in the past 5 years, like counting this year.
Yeah, yeah.
So I go I go often. Now we have kids, so I have a 2 almost 3-year-old, so he's seeing his reactions when we go and stuff like that is cool. I never went to Universal either. I've never been to either one of those.
You haven't been to Universal?
No, I have now.
Okay. As a kid,
I
you
didn't as a kid. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
all
I
of
don't think
these
I realized that.
are now. And Wayne hates me for this, but our other buddies told him this too. Disney is, yes, people think that there's very Disney like kid oriented. There's a lot of adult stuff you can do at Disney.
Well,
I promise.
I mean, isn't Epcot like basically adults because
Yes.
it's got the drinking around the world thing
Yes.
and all that?
There is literally a Star Wars cantina that you can go to
Yeah, now
in
that's
Hollywood Studios.
yeah.
called
I'll say that's
Oga's.
at Hollywood Studios, right?
Yeah, it's called Oga's, and it's, believe it or not, like the drinks are fantastic. And they play it the entire time.
That's funny.
Like they play it. They have a DJ that is like a robot. It is one of the coolest things to see. And now that, especially being like a Star Wars fan, like it's so cool when you go and you feel like you're in it. They act like they're from a different world. Like it's the
Well,
yeah.
and that for me, like again, I hate crowds and I hate theme parks. And in general, I've done Disney recently for some of the holiday events and different things. But for me, you bring up Star Wars. Now you are a Star Wars guy. I enjoy Star Wars. You are a Star Wars guy, but I will say I loved Hollywood Studios because of the experiences. Like I don't like rides. Now I will do a ride where you don't
You're getting where I was going.
yeah, so I mean, I did do now some of the rides there. The lines were too long, so I didn't do. But the vibe of Galaxy's Edge and the experiences of building the lightsaber,
Black Spire Outpost.
yeah, and building the lightsaber. And
Well,
building
and I like the
droid.
cool thing about stuff like that is so like you're talking about building the lightsaber. Like so, for anyone that doesn't know, you can build a lightsaber. It's called Savi's Workshop. So when you're going to Savi's, if you're not looking for Savi's, you won't find Savi's.
That's a good.
That's the whole
point.
premise. That's the whole premise of Savi's is it's there. You're supposed to like. So Black Spire is quote unquote taken over by Imperial control. So like it's like
Yeah, so you already
that's-
know more about the lore than I do.
yeah, that's what it is. So Savi's like they don't want the Jedi and they don't want people to make lightsabers. So Savi's is hidden in the Black Spire outpost, so you can go make your lightsaber, and it's literally tucked away. So when you're looking at it, all it is, it's like a picnic area.
yeah. It could,
Like it's a little
that's
picnic
it.
area.
I'm
and
glad
then
you're explaining
if
this
you-
to me because I remember having a
look
hard
at
time
it-
finding it.
if you start looking at it, there's a door. And that door, when you open that door, it's completely different.
Yeah, that
Like,
makes a
it's-
lot of
it's-
sense.
That's the whole premise of what Savi's is.
And how many do you have now?
I've only made one.
Oh, okay. I thought you've made more than one.
No, I've only made one, but I own.
You have several. That was the whole reason. Like when it came up about going back to Disney, because I hate rides, I hate crowds. My negotiation was okay. We have to go to Hollywood Studios, and I got to build a lightsaber. The only reason I even knew this was a thing was when I was over at your house, and you were like, "Oh, look at this," and then you proceeded to tell. Like the weight blew my mind, and then you're like, "Oh, I built this," and then that was the whole reason I even was okay with it. I mean, it was such a great
Between
experience.
that, and I was talking to Becca because we're going back this year, and I think we're going to actually. So we're still going to. There's still a lot to talk about with Disney, but like the start of it is like they have. This is my favorite area in all of the 4 Disney parks. Like Galaxy's Edge, Black Spire Outpost, that is my favorite area in all of Disney parks. They have a thing where you build a droid.
Yep, I did
So
one of those.
I've already built one. But we're gonna build another one this time, and I'm gonna take Mav with me, and I'm gonna let Mav pick all the parts, so I can have his. So we'll put it together and stuff, and it'll be his droid, but it'll be something cool when he gets older. Like, hey, look, you built this when you were 2 years old. Look at and then when he's older, you can have the difference and like how, because it's going to be 7 different colors and all kinds.
I will say that was one thing the reason why I enjoyed the lightsaber build over the droid is the lightsaber was like a group of like 12 people, and you were able to get away from the crowd and all that. Man, building that droid was stressful.
Yeah,
I mean, it was so much going on. It blew my mind. But see, I've only ever been to Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. Now, yes, I did Universal, but I haven't done any of the other parks.
Well, so there's 4 parks at Disney. Obviously, there's Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. Epcot is really, really cool because not only do you have the World Showcase where it shows you about all around the world, but it is Chase's big thing is crowds. But the thing that I always talk about Disney and why I like Disney, you could almost not ride a ride at Disney and still be doing stuff all day.
Walking. I'm just saying, dude.
I'm saying things around the park to do.
Yeah.
There's shows. There's
food.
Even if you don't
there's
want
a lot of good food.
There's a lot of good food. They have, and that's what I was getting at with the World Showcase at Epcot. So there's all the different countries. So you can go to Mexico, Canada. There's a U.S. area, Japan, France. And the cool thing about it is at every one of those locations, there is food that is
specific from
that area. And not only that, most of the workers are from there.
Oh.
So like when you go to the Netherlands, everyone in there
is from the
Netherlands. When you go to Japan, pretty much everyone there is from somewhere in Japan or has some kind of background of being Japanese.
Do they have from the US perspective, do they have the best food ever represented that you're aware of? Do they have a New Orleans area?
Not here, but they have
okay.
They have I think it's in Disneyland. It's in Disney Springs because of Tiana, who is, so Tiana has her own section because she's in Tiana's Bayou.
Oh, okay.
So you have her type like Cajun food and stuff like that there.
Okay.
US in the World Showcase, their big thing is you can get a giant turkey leg.
Really?
Yes.
Good Lord. So many other options.
What's wrong with the turkey leg?
I'm just saying, if you're going to give me Japanese cuisine or French cuisine or Italian cuisine, I'll take that over a big turkey leg.
There is a sake that I get every time I go to Japan. It's a violet sake. Oh my God. It's so good.
I've heard a lot about the drink around the world thing.
Well, I just I drink socially every now and again, but I don't drink a lot. And that's the one place that I'm like, I always get a sake just because, and it just because. But I like trying the foods from different places. I like going during the different events, like the Flower and Garden Festival. They always have extra stuff for that. Talking about crowds, though, it is crazy. So we're going in the summer this year. It's going to be busy.
And hot.
It's going to be hot and busy. So Becca's been probably 20, 25 times. Like, she's been a ton. I've only been 5 or 6 or 4 or 5. And I've went in May. I've went in June. I've went in September. And now I'm going again in June. So this will be my 4th time.
So wait a minute. Have you all not done the events, the Halloween event and the Christmas event?
That's what I was getting at next. That's why. So when we went in September, it was after the Halloween event started.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But what I was getting at is the crowd. So the crowd difference when you're going when school's in versus when school's out versus when school's in but an event's going on.
Yeah, now I will say that is probably why I kind of sort of enjoyed because we did the event and it's after hours and it's like limited people.
They close the park for everybody, but unless you're there for the event. So the cool thing about that is, so you went to Magic Kingdom obviously because you did Not So Scary, right?
We did them both. We did Christmas and we've done the Christmas event.
So I really want to do the Christmas one. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, but we've done the Not So Scary and then Very Merry or Christmas or whatever it's called.
So we want to do the Very Merry, but we're probably going to try to do it next year maybe. We haven't really figured that out yet. But this year, we did Not So Scary for Mav's first birthday.
Gotcha.
Because it was Mav's first and my 30th. We share.
So I'm knocking on 40 and you just left 30.
Yeah, I'm literally like right at it.
Yeah.
So that's how that so we went to it. The difference, you could get on rides that would be a 2-hour wait on a regular Magic Kingdom day in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Now I do remember.
So again, that was cool.
I don't ride rides, but I mean I do remember that made it a little more manageable, and you could actually find nooks without people around.
Yeah, you could actually have a little bit of time.
That was not.
And it was really cool too to me because we talked about the food and how they had good food and stuff like that. Did you have any of the exclusive to event foods
I didn't specifically, but I do very much remember hearing all about them and how good they were. There was some spicy chicken thing that they had.
There was a red velvet cake pop that was like a push pop. So they would make it, and it was literally a push pop, and you would push it up, and just part of the cake would come up as you did it. It was good.
Man, that's legit. I'm always now I can't eat the quantity that I used to by any means, but I can always appreciate some good eating.
Yeah. But the thing is now, so I obviously didn't know Disney back then. Whenever you saw it, but Disney is completely different now versus what you saw.
Oh yeah,
and I have a buddy who's really really big. He goes to Disney every year. We're the same age. He's literally 2 months older than me. We watch Disney videos to see you talking
about the POV. Oh, I thought you meant the
not
POV
really POVs,
videos.
but it's we did a big section whenever we watched some of the places you can stay in Disney are just insane because I've always wanted to stay in the Polynesian. I had never been there. There's a restaurant in Disney called Ohana. I think I've told you about it.
Yeah.
It is by far the best breakfast place that I had in all of Disney. It's fantastic. There's a couple other
breakfast is the best meal of the day.
So I didn't know this, but Alex said place has been there forever. Ohana's basically been a staple since Lilo and Stitch was a thing.
Yeah.
So Polynesian, he was telling me some stuff, and I was like, Alex, that's not how the Polynesian's set up. That doesn't make any sense to me. So he pulled up pictures and he found videos. If you pull up a video of 20 years ago, of the Polynesian
compared to now, was it night and day?
Compared to now, so when you walked in the Polynesian, there was a giant jungle almost and they had parrots and everything that lived in it.
Oh, so like a Disney rainforest cafe with much better food.
It was wild, and the Polynesian's very expensive to stay at. That's why we've never done it. But
yeah, I've never stayed on property except for that time when I was a kid, 7, because obviously I didn't have to worry about it.
We always stay on property, but your value resorts and stuff like that are actually super affordable. They're really not that bad.
The pricing of theme parks, the crowds are the main reason I don't go. The dollars are the
that I guess I'm completely the opposite on that because to me that doesn't.
But
because $100 to $150 a night to stay in a hotel, I don't think is that bad, and that's what you can get, and then they give you benefits on top of it, they give you money off, stuff like that, book so many days, stuff like that. So,
well, and obviously this is all talking about Disney World in Florida. The thing that makes me the most salty about Disney World is the agreement that they have with Universal or whatever, that anything Marvel is not allowed on the East Coast. So Avengers
Yeah, that
Campus
was that. I've never understood that,
because
but
Universal
it's
still has
wild. Yeah,
Universal
because they
still
have the rights
has
in Florida to have everything.
yeah, like they
So
have a
it is really
Spider-Man
weird
ride and
that
all that. But no, I mean,
it's really weird to me that Universal, even though Disney owns it, Universal is doing everything with Marvel.
there was a
Only
documentary.
here.
Yeah, there was a documentary about it or something, and it truly
Mm-hmm.
has to deal with just East Coast, West Coast.
It's a very
And
very old agreement.
and I will say, because how much I enjoyed Star Wars, even though I'm not a Star Wars guy like you, it is a bucket list item to get to California and go to Disneyland so that I can go to Avengers Campus because that
Yes,
will for
yes,
the experiences, you know.
yes. Well, and that's what I think. Wayne will argue this that it's not the
He's like anti
experience.
Disney, I know.
He is, but like the experience of going is the things you can do there is just fantastic to me. So,
Mm-hmm.
but we spent quite a bit of time on theme parks, so let's move on to
Uh,
conventions. This
yeah,
is more of something that you have.
yeah, because I don't know in general. Didn't you go like? Haven't you gone to some conventions with us? Like when they used to do Fandom Fest here in Louisville. Didn't you
I
go?
always worked it because I was
Oh,
the
that's
manager. So
gotcha.
we at GameStop had a booth, and we were required to work it like a day. I didn't really necessarily want to, but
Well, yeah, that's fair. No,
because now let me again. I brought him up before. Buchanan is Josh is
oh
a
yeah,
great guy, and the years that I had to work it, he was the one running the booth, and he was super lax with how you did it. He was like I would always help him set up or like get the stuff in there, and then I would be there for a little bit, but then he would be like, "All right, go look around, like just go chill, like come
well,
back and forth." But
and I will say, and I'll get to vending kind of in a little bit. I feel vending an event like that is I mean, in my experiences, like because you're able to have kind of a safe space in your booth. Because again, this whole thing is about crowds. Like these conventions can get crazy with the amount of people, and
yeah,
depending on where they are, like the old Fandom Fests and GalaxyCon, I forgot the other ones that were in Louisville. Like they did the convention center downtown. They did like Freedom Hall and South Wing and all that, so they had a lot of space. But I know they started moving into like really snug places. Like I think the last Fandom Fest actually was in the closed Macy's in Jefferson Mall. Like,
was it really?
yes, and I went to because obviously Jefferson Mall, I have to go get sample. I went to it, but it was you could tell that fest was on the way out. But the amount of people, like I had a conversation with somebody a long time ago about how much I hate crowds, and it was brought up. Well, but you go to conventions, like how can you deal with crowd? And frankly, so just like how I told you with my first roller coaster experience, I got hit with logic. Hey, you hate roller coasters, but you've never ridden one, right? And I'm like, okay, that's a valid point. Let me think about this. So I got hit with the same argument. It's like you hate crowds, but you go to cons. I'm like, that is a valid point. But I don't really understand. I think I have finally kind of understood why I can tolerate crowds at cons. So the thing is, there's a con here in Kentucky. It's in Lexington. Happens every year. I've gone every year since like 2013. Let's see, I lived in Lexington.
It's happening this
It's
weekend.
not this weekend. It's actually a couple weeks. It's on the 28th, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
so we
okay.
got a couple weeks. This episode was going to be the week of the con, but we had to pivot some things to make room for next
Yeah.
week's, which we'll talk about. But the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention, I lived in Lexington or Winchester in 2012, and I think 2013 was the first year I went. So I've gone every year for 13 years. Even during COVID, they didn't do it, and it's in March of every year. They pushed it and had it like in September. I still went. But this convention is held at the Central Bank Center, which is essentially like Rupp Arena. So for anyone who's familiar with UK basketball, that's basically where they hold it. And the thing is, I love going to this convention. I think the comfortability with the location and the layout is a big reason also that I can deal with the crowd there. But
Because you know where you're going, you know what you're doing.
exactly, and they've had
Yeah.
the same layout for the last several years. But when I was asked like how do you deal with crowds at these conventions when you hate crowds, I finally kind of determined I don't think I have ever had a. I know there are a lot of horror stories about conventions, but for me personally, when I go to these conventions, the people that I am around, I feel are like my people. Like we're all there because we're into the fandoms and things. And the LexCon is nothing specific. Like they have voice actors, they have celebrities, they have wrestlers, they have so it's not like it's just an anime
They have
con.
Moff Gideon.
They have what?
Moff Gideon.
Oh yeah, Moff Gideon's going to be there this year. Yeah, this year they've got like Giancarlo Esposito. There's a lot of Star Wars people that are going to be there. What's
Yeah,
the
I
fat
can't
guy?
go.
What's the fat guy? What's his name?
Boba Fett?
Yeah, I know Boba Fett in Jango Fett, but the actor, what's his name?
I can't say his name
Oh, okay, but yeah, he's the
because his name is
the Kiwi. He's from New Zealand, but
yeah.
I can't remember his name. But a lot of Star Wars people are going to be there. Their big one this year is Christopher Lloyd, Back to the Future, but they've historically had a lot of anime voice actors. They don't really this year. The one that I'm super fired up for, Deborah Ann Woll, is going to be there this year. She's Karen Page in Daredevil. She also, we've been talking about the casting announcements for God of War, the TV show. She played Faye in God of War, which I am very excited to meet and talk to her. I want to ask her about, not that she'll tell me anything, but the thing with these cons, like, I think I am okay with the crowds because, I have not had any bad experiences, and I just feel like I'm, like, around my people, and I love seeing the cosplays and taking pictures and of people's cosplays. And I used to only, when I would do conventions, and I think the conventions that I remember going with Howie to and stuff, like, I didn't do the celebrity thing. I didn't want to pay for the lines. I didn't want to have to do any of that.
We had this conversation because that's my thing. Because I was talking about doing some cool stuff for that.
Well, I used to just do the vendor stuff. Like, that's where, when I used to have the window room with a massive amount of collectibles and stuff, I got them all at the conventions. Like, that's where I first got my PlayArts Kai figures. It's also when I started getting into Funko Pops and stuff, but a lot of unique things that I couldn't find at local stores, I'd get at these cons.
They have some cool stuff.
Oh, dude. And literally our side quest is on collectibles. But now, the last several years, my focus has been on the celebrities. I have been able to, at the LexCon specifically, I've been able to meet Sean Schemmel. I've been able to meet Chris Sabat, Troy Baker, a lot of folks at LexCon specifically, like almost all the Power Rangers, other Dragon Ball voice actors. But
I see you look back and look at all your collectibles.
No, well, I'm looking at some of these pictures. Like, I met the entire cast of Arrow, which that's actually one of the other people I want to meet this year. Manu Bennett is going to be there. He was in Spartacus. He was in Arrow as Deathstroke. He was in The Hobbit. He's going to be there. So that's another one that I'm looking forward to this year. And the thing is, I don't mind the lines. Like, I learned, but I don't buy a lot of stuff anymore. Like, I just do the celebrity things. And I'll tell you,
your money spent on the celebrity stuff rather than spent on the
yes,
collectibles and stuff like that.
And that's all LexCon specifically, but there's other cons that I've gone to, like Indie Pop Con is where I met David Hayter, voice of Solid Snake, which that was an amazing experience.
I feel like you only went to that because you found out he was going to be the person.
Well, it was actually, so it was twofold. Elijah Wood was going to be there, which was, Lord of the Rings, Frodo, and that was a big deal, obviously. But it was basically when I saw David Hayter was going to be there, I said, oh, great, there's something for me, So I met David Hayter there, and then there's been so many other cons that I've gone to kind of over the years to meet different people. I met Nolan North, which was super awesome as well. And
so how different was it? Like, because I know you and Scott did, like, I know you were still able to do some of this stuff whenever you
the vending stuff. Yeah. So
whenever you and Scott had booths, like y'all did it was Atlanta.
It was Atlanta, and then we did a TCG con, which we'll jump over to the trading card stuff in a second too. But it was so it was in Atlanta where
Atlanta's the one y'all actually had a lot of
yes, that was a big deal. That was so, and it was the same company that did a con in Indy. I didn't go to that one, but it was, and I will say, when I go to cons that I haven't been before, my comfort level drops compared to Lexington because I'm so used to it. So the crowds may bother me a little more, but at Atlanta specifically, and it goes back to when you talked about working a booth for GameStop and how I say, oh, it's a safe haven. So when Howie had a booth, so a shameless plug for Howie, just for everyone listening, you've heard us bring it up before, Animetal Crafts, you can find on Instagram, you can find on Etsy. That is Howie's business where he does all things not just anime, but he prints play mats, metal cards, metal prints, all kinds of really cool stuff. But we had a booth, and I say we, Howie had a booth in Atlanta,
I
and
mean, you worked the entire weekend, so.
oh yeah, and that event was first off the celebrities they had there were insane. They had all the hobbits were there.
Well, it's a bigger,
Much bigger. Yeah, all the hobbits were there.
because
Steve from Blue's Clues was there. Several Dragon Ball people were there. Nolan North was there. But the thing that was funny about that event was right next to our booth. There's an artist on Instagram named, I think I've brought him up before, Ozzy DeVirus, who does a lot of amazing Dragon Ball and other anime art. His booth was right next to us, so we got to meet and talk to him. And we had seen his art for years, but had never met the guy. He's out of Orlando. We were talking about Disney a little bit ago, but at that event, what's so funny is I'm a smoker and I have to go outside to smoke. Well, it also gave me time to get away from the crowds and all that stuff. And the way Howie and I did it, he was printing everything on demand, so I was taking the orders and all that. But what was so funny is I'd go outside to smoke, and I'd be texting Howie about all these celebrities coming outside, other celebrities coming outside to smoke, or just walking by. So being that it was Atlanta, there was a bunch of Walking Dead people there. Now, the ones you immediately think of, Norman Reedus, as well as Jeffrey D. Morgan, they were not there. But Lauren Cohen was there, who played Maggie, and then she also was, Batman's mom. She's done a bunch of other stuff too. And then the girl who played Tara in The Walking Dead. They actually were walking by when I was outside smoking, and I was standing next to a Negan cosplayer and a Rick Grimes cosplayer, and they came over and wanted pictures with those two guys. And then they took pictures of those guys and were walking off. And I wasn't standing right next to them, but I was, But then they were like, hey, they asked me, like, can you take a picture of us? So then I ended up taking a picture of both of them. And I said, hey, love The Walking Dead. Y'all are great. Da, da, da. And then Ralph Macchio and Billy something from
Karate Kid.
Yeah, from Karate Kid. Got to see them. The Hobbits. They drove by, and I kept texting Howie about all these people I was seeing and talking to outside. I was like, hey, it's a bit perk of being a smoker, and so when we left, and really I was just doing it to get away from the crowd, probably more than anything, but then I wound up kind of benefiting from it, which was awesome. But those events, every con is a great experience. And the fact is, I deal with the crowd because I can relate to all the people, I guess. I mean,
It's something you're passionate about.
yeah. And the thing is the other thing that we vended, so there was a TCG con here in Louisville, so we didn't have to travel for that. And that was another one. They didn't really have any celebrities at that. They had a couple people, like there was a voice actor from Digimon and a couple others, but it was basically a card tournament with a bunch of card vendors. And that one wasn't really that crowded, but was also kind of a good time. But card tournament wise, though, we have traveled to some. I think all of us we went to Indy, right? Weren't you with us?
It's the only one I've traveled to is Indy.
Was Indy? Okay. And those, and I've been to St. Louis and went to Richmond and went to Charlotte, and those are also, I mean, it's kind of the same. The crowds there are very condensed because you're playing in card tournaments and everybody's sitting at tables and all that stuff. So exactly, I see you doing the hand gesture. That smell at a trading card game tournament dude. I mean,
it catches you off guard.
It is. Anyone who has seen the memes and the TikTok, it's so awful.
I love playing card games. I had fun. I'm not denying that. It was an experience when it came to that.
I mean, it is a stereotype that exists for a reason. And the BO of folks at these tournaments. And look, I still feel at card tournaments that we were with and our people, So I feel the same vibe as I do at a con, except at a card tournament, it is just naturally competitive. You're playing in a tournament. And you may wonder, Chase, you've talked this whole 20 episodes about how you're not a competitive person. That is valid. I am not. But these tournaments are a really fun experience. There's some participation stuff you get. There's vendors to buy stuff from. Mm-hmm. You get to hang out with cool people. But that's the one aspect that I didn't really like is if you had to deal with super sweaty, not just in regard to their BO, but their competitive nature. Like
Ah,
dealing with those kind of
yeah.
people is
So
rough.
talking about that one tournament we ever went to, I'll never forget. I'd lost. I wasn't playing very good. I'd lost. I decided not to run a deck that I switched my deck literally day before, if you remember,
Yeah,
because I was going to play Bojack and ended up playing Bardock.
yep, I
And
remember. And
if you remember,
no one was playing BoJack.
and then there was a top 8 Bojack.
I know.
Yeah. So, but I remember I sat down. There was a guy across from me. I'm a big Jacksonville Jaguars fan. So I think I was wearing a Jaguars hoodie or a hat or something. And he goes, "Oh, you're a Jaguars fan?" And I'm like, nothing. Now this dude's like 6'10", like 6'7", like 6'8", like he's huge,
6'7".
really.
You said it.
There you go. Like
This is for
looks like
the Gen Z audience.
okay. I'm trying to tell a story. Stop.
You be all right.
He's and on top of that, he's like he could probably bench 400 pounds, right?
Oh Jesus!
I started.
I don't know if
to
you
him.
told me this story.
Oh, I definitely did because I told you all right after.
Okay, all right.
Because you were there. The dude had been drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. He played for the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I remember now.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like we're talking and like he starts telling me about it and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, and I think he wound up getting to be pretty big in the community online, if I remember.
He got very big in the community online because he was able to do
did his own tournaments.
Had the money,
yes,
because so he was the tournament host.
Yeah, I feel like I might have to Google that guy's name because
Dalen Mack.
Yep, that's right. He was all over the groups and stuff back when.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't. He actually never like started or anything in the NFL, but he played on practice squads. He played on actual team, like he played on 3 or 4 different teams. He actually, I mean, he started in games. Like,
well,
he played.
What's funny is I seem to for first off, that particular event, Indie PopCon was going on too, so there was a lot of cosplayers around, which was funny because we were there for a Dragon Ball.
Because they were in the same building,
different
rooms. Yeah.
Which I've been to Indie PopCon since then, which is great. But what's messed up though is that I had to leave from Indianapolis after that tournament to drive to Louisville to catch a flight to New Orleans. But the flight got canceled in Louisville because of storms, so then I ended up driving to Nashville. And you may be thinking, why didn't you just fly out of Indy? And it was company booked, but ended up going to Nashville to fly down to New Orleans for work. But it was either that particular weekend, because I do remember you telling me that story now, because it was either that weekend or the weekend after. We did some interviews, and I interviewed a guy who had played on the practice squad for the Patriots. So it was like we both had these weird NFL interactions in a short amount of time. But, you know, the thing is, crowds in general, I hate them. I think you can deal with them a little better than I can. Probably also has to deal with just our jobs too, as far as that goes. But I will tolerate a crowd with a convention. You know, I will say I'm very excited about LexCon in 2 weeks because my mother, who is much older, has never been to an event like this before. So I think she's in for a heck of a culture shock. But it's going to be a good time. And, you know, yeah, I don't like crowds, but I will deal with them when I feel like the crowds are, like, tolerable my people.
Well, and the only thing, like, and I guess it's just talking about crowds in general, just out of curiosity, because I know you kind of had a music background, too. Did you go to concerts, really?
You know, it's funny that I didn't put anything music-related on here, but that's another thing that's funny. So I think my hatred for crowds became more of a thing as I got older because, yes, I did the local music thing from age like 15 to like 18. And yes, we did a lot of concerts.
But that's playing concerts and like because you help that.
Well,
did you go to concerts?
I have been to a couple concerts personally, but not a huge fan. Even like the ones that I went to were generally like not standing concerts, so you had your own seat, you know, kind of thing. And that's it. As an adult, the only concerts I've been to have been the orchestras, which are very like it's crowded, yes, but you have your own seat, you know, and all of that. But no, I didn't do a whole lot of concerts outside of the local music scene, but it was very crowded, and I did deal with it back then. But
Wayne's a big concert guy, like him and Taryn.
Okay,
so that's what.
Yeah,
like Becca doesn't. She doesn't like So she went to Lindsey Sterling
Oh,
around
just
Christmas.
recently, and that's see,
Yeah.
I saw that was the one standing concert I did was Lindsey Sterling at
So
Mercury Ballroom.
she had a lot. She had a good time, but the all the lights and how loud it is, like she's real sensitive to that stuff. So like she had a headache for like 2 days
Yeah, I don't
afterwards.
or orchestra type stuff, which Lindsey Sterling's kind of like hip hop orchestra, if you will. I love those. I did that Hans Zimmer back in September. I'm
Mhm.
waffling on doing a one of those candlelight concerts because they're doing the Hans Zimmer suite, in May. I'm kind of waffling on doing that, but yeah. So I'll tolerate a crowded area if I have a place to sit and a safe space. But yeah, I didn't even think about putting and talking about concerts, but that's a good point.
So I was just curious on if you had ever if you did them because I know you had like obviously like when you're younger you
I
were in music,
yeah
so
yeah yeah yeah.
I didn't know if that translated into and like you always talk about music and listen to the old like music and stuff like that too. So
Oh yeah. Which fun
so
fact, fun fact before we jump into our side quests and talking about music, I learned the other day, and I'm going to tell you this so that you can listen to this at some point. One of my favorite songs that I know word for word is Colt 45 by Afro Man.
mhm.
Apparently Afro Man did a song called Kentucky. And
Yeah, I've heard it.
okay, I just listened to it the other day, and I feel like Colt 45 was the song I learned word for word as a kid. I now need to learn this Kentucky song word for word. So,
Yeah, I know that song.
but anyway, so yeah, crowds, but sometimes they're worth it. But
Disney's definitely worth it. I'm going again in about 3 months.
unless you're Wayne, who's anti-Disney.
But Wayne also has not a single problem with crowds. Like
No, fully aware,
yeah,
fully aware. So,
concerts,
all the things, all the
theme
things.
parks, all of this does not bother him.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's jump into our first side quest, which is going to be bonus level. Now, bonus level today. So, if you recall, that's where we get into a niche focus of something, and today specifically is around collectibles and toys. And we talked a little bit about them when I brought up the con, but obviously we like to focus around things that are nostalgic to a degree. And I have to ask because we haven't had this conversation, but did you all or your parents ever mess with Beanie Babies?
I remember them, but like not really.
Dude, our parents, well, parents who got into Beanie Babies thought they were going to like pay for our colleges and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
dude, it was insane. Like, my mom got really big into Beanie Babies, like had the little plastic cases, to put them in. She had the Princess Diana Beanie Baby, and all of that. But the thing is, I mean, I can knock them and I can criticize them, but good God, Funko Pops are basically this generation's Beanie Babies.
Yeah,
I mean, and
I've never,
I love
which
them.
I didn't really get into Funko Pops. I dealt with them when the Amiibos are pretty much the only thing that like this that I've collected.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Well, and I would guess the GameStop booth though probably had a bunch of Funko Pops. I mean, that's
dude, it was insane that and because so when they started doing the Phantom Fest and stuff like that, like it was a lot of. That's one of the reasons I had to go because I was an assistant at the first time I went was an assistant, but we were the collectible store.
that's right. That's
So
right.
all the product, like we were one of the stores that took a lot of the product because it could come back to us after.
Right. Well, and that makes sense. I mean, now of course every store is a collectible store, but when it first started, it was not that insane at all, if I remember correctly. I
Yeah.
mean, but now every single store does. But Funko Pop specifically, like they're like I love them. Like I think they're really really cool. But I will say I'm a little bummed. I keep hearing about that Funko is like going to go under and they're not doing well
They're still
financially.
they're still coming out with them and they're still selling them.
They are. So I mean, but Funko Pops like are quick, affordable collectibles. Like when I was focusing on buying stuff at cons, like I would just look at Funkos and you could find them for $10 or $15. But when I was going balls to the wall on Dragon Ball Funkos, like I was searching those highly valuable ones. Now they're like there's one it's called Planet Arlia Vegeta that's still like thousands of dollars in value. But like I remember hunting down like Super Saiyan God Goku I found at a Lexington Con. It was like an $80 Funko Pop. Golden Frieza was another one that was really hard to find that I got at the
I think
Lexington
I
Con.
still have one somewhere. The chocolate boo.
Oh yeah, Chocolate Boo. There's so many Dragon Ball ones now, but like I got in to the Dragon Ball ones right when they started, and I was buying every single one, even the exclusives. When I got out of it was when they came out with. I very much remember it was the over 9,000 Majin Vegeta. Over 9,000, the company was the exclusive, and that was the one I was like I didn't buy. I had gotten out of Funko Pops, but the thing that I find to be kind of insane is like the statues and stuff you can buy now.
I like the statues. You've seen it,
Which one?
the Mando and Grogu statue.
Oh
That I
my
really
gosh,
like.
yes, at Miso's.
It's like $600 or $700. Well, I found it online. But Miso's has it in person. It's the first time I saw it in person. It is a
Dude,
resin statue that
nuts.
is. Well, the best part about that is the way that it's like Grogu's like carriers attached to the cape a little bit, and it literally looks like it's floating. Like it's so cool to me. Like I want
Yeah.
that statue so bad.
Well, there's
And I
there's
will
some good
probably. I'm going to be
quality.
honest with you. I will probably end up with that statue.
Oh, I believe it, 100%.
I just have to find ways to
Well,
put it because, like, especially right now, like it's not on here, but just talking about like collectible toys, Legos, like
oh yeah, I didn't even think about Legos, and I mean
Legos, like
you've got 3 or 4 massive ones you have to work on.
yeah, like so I have like I have a Millennium Falcon. Like it's not the big Millennium Falcon, but I have a Millennium Falcon. I have the Razor Crest that I still have not yet to put together, but it's because of how much I've been working. And I have another 4 or 5 of them in the closet that I have to put together. Like I have
Yeah, I forgot all
that
about
I got for
Legos.
Christmas because I got a bunch of them for Christmas.
Right.
So that's what
Yeah.
I'll spend some time on once I have some time.
Right.
Like next week, that's probably something or
Grind out some
because
Legos.
I'll have a little bit of time with surgery and stuff like that to just sit. So
That's a yeah.
you
Well,
know,
and see the thing with the statues. Back to the statues before I lose the thought. Like when I was buying like crazy, I was spending $300, $400 every 2 weeks on statues. You know, specifically the anime statues. And I had some. I mean, they look great and they were really affordable. But see, here's the thing: I downsized like crazy. Got rid of all my Funko Pops. Wound up making a pretty good penny off of some of them. Moved all my statues because I had the intention of pivoting to like that Grogu statue, that resin that you're talking about. They have some massive, great resin Dragon Ball statues, and they're like $400 or $500 a piece. I said, okay, instead of spending $300 to $400 on 4 or 5 like smaller statues, I'm going to focus on the big ones. But, you know, things changed and I ended up never doing that. But what blows my mind now is that people 3D print this stuff. Like it's not even about, I mean, yeah, they're considered artificial or counterfeit, but you can find counterfeit 3D printed bangers out there. Like, so I mean, and I've seen people 3D printing like old retro toys. Now it's still not the same, but what is that the Akatsuki resin?
It's Jiraiya and Pain.
Yes, I've seen that. That one is nuts. And
That one. Well, so have you seen how these ones come to like they get sent? Look how they're in pieces and you kind of have to
yes,
put them together.
yes,
Like the one I was looking for that I can't seem to find. Have you seen the Naruto versus Sasuke one?
yeah. No, I
The
know
final
exactly.
battle.
No, so it's funny that you mentioned that. They had that statue. I remember seeing it. There was when Brian and I used to go together to the Lexington convention, we would hit up all the collectible shops in Lexington after the con, and they had that Naruto and Sasuke at a shop. It wasn't for sale. They were displaying it. That was the first time I'd ever seen those resin style statues, and
They're
that's
so good, man.
and the fact that people can print them now and be just as good. Now, again, you got to acknowledge where your money's going and how well the counterfeit is. But the 3D printing people do of some of this stuff is nuts. But
Yeah.
you know, I will say some of the things people don't think about when they think collectibles, and I know we've talked about them a bunch, but like movie theater collectibles, like the stuff you can get at theaters. Like I remember popcorn tins and special edition cups were like reserved for like really big movies. Now almost every movie that comes out has a collectible tin. has
They
a
switch it.
collectible cup.
I don't think I've been anytime recent that you can't go, and when you go, you can't. You don't have something of
Yeah,
that
it
aspect.
it used to be like 90% of the time there was no swag, but a big movie come out and there was a lot of swag. And I mean, I again used to get and collect a whole bunch of stuff. I don't really anymore. But I had so many tins, so many collectibles. Heck, I had
When
you go out of your way to get me the Taylor Swift stuff because AMC had it and there wasn't an AMC in town. I mean, dude, some of the stuff, and then now with the designs, you had the whole war of popcorn buckets when Dune came out with the sandworm bucket. Remember?
yeah,
And then of course the Deadpool bucket was amazing. I
yeah,
mean, I think I went out of my way to send you all the trailer when they unveiled the popcorn bucket.
yeah.
Which
So and
which I
then
did get a couple of those, and I did resell them. I'm not proud to say it, but I did resell them because normally I kind of knocked.
well,
I didn't mark it up real crazy, but I did
speaking of
resell them.
popcorn buckets, and like I know your next mark is theme parks. Going back to Disney, Disney has specific like last year it was the mini Hocus Pocus Sanderson sister popcorn bucket that they have, and you can only get it at those events. Like, and that's the
Right,
only place you can get it.
I forgot
So
all about
they have
those.
stuff like that. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's just talking about like a little bit of theme park stuff.
yeah. So I
Like,
mean,
and on top of that, they have park exclusive stuff everywhere. Like every big park has stuff like you could only get this in the Disney park. You can only get this at Nintendo World and Universal. You can only
right.
get this.
Yeah,
So
it's just the nostalgic collecting and everything is one thing, but now there's so many different cool ways to collect. And again,
mm,
millennials run the world. We thrive on nostalgia, so all these things are they pull on it. So, but yeah, so that does it for bonus level. Let's go ahead and jump over to our second side quest, which is going to be split screen. Split screen today is going to be then and now, looking kind of at arcades. Now, time wise, this was another episode that Austin and I are like, oh, we'll probably make this a shorter one. No. We always like to talk and go down rabbit holes, so this one will probably condense just a wee bit so that we don't keep you listening for too much longer. But when we talk about arcades, we've mentioned it on our I think it was our mall episode. Growing up as a kid, arcades were in malls. Now, I don't think you remembered Aladdin's Castle because I think it was
no.
before you were going to the mall all the time. But old arcades, though, like used to have like the best like vibes and aesthetic. Like,
The I don't remember Aladdin's Castle. The first kind of arcade thing that I remember was Gaddy Land.
oh yeah, on Outer Loop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
now, dude, well, Gaddy Land is a great example. I mean, because Gaddy Land had that same, the real vibrant carpet, the dark
mhm.
lights. I remember watching, like, obviously I didn't grow up in the 80s, I grew up in the 90s, but watching Stranger Things, and I think it was season 2 where it, like, starts in the arcade and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you can't help but feel something about it,
Yeah.
and you had quarters, you didn't have tokens, then you evolved into tokens. But, now I mean, really, when you think arcades now, especially when you think local in Louisville,
It's like Dave and Buster's main event. Um, Rec Bar still tries to give you the nostalgia, like with the
that's
games and stuff
yeah,
like that.
that's what I
So
was gonna say. I mean, because for the kids, you got Chuck E. Cheese or whatever, but Rec Bar, I think there's two of them, right? There's one out there by you, and then there's one over on this side of the river. And they got like the pinball machines and the old style. Um,
the one closer to you supposedly has more, which is crazy to me. They have even more pinballs than what's over here.
Really? See, I haven't been to the
I
one over
think is what
here.
it was.
I need to go check it out. But and again, back to millennials rule the world. Like these places are trying to capture the essence of like throwing aside what D&B does and what main event does and all of that. Places like Rec Bar are trying to capture that nostalgic aesthetic, which I would say I've experienced not just here, but like we went to Denver for work, and those cabinets that I got at the house, One Up Arcade does them, where I've got Turtles in Time and Marvel. So you can buy these One Up arcades from Best Buy or wherever, and they're pretty affordable in the grand scheme. But they actually have, and they have two locations in Denver, but they have a One Up arcade that is pure nostalgia fuel. It's not just their machines; like they have old retro machines and stuff too. But didn't you go somewhere that kind of had that similar vibe? Where was
We
it?
didn't end up going to it, but we looked at it. It was in Vegas. They had like a it was called Player One, I think is what it was called, and it
Okay.
was like a giant arcade. And the thing about it is, like when we looked at it, it's like a barcade is more of what it is, and it's like it was cool
Okay.
because like all the employees dressed up as like different characters, and it had newer stuff, older stuff. Like it seemed cool. We didn't end up getting to go to it, but we've looked at it.
Yeah, that I went to. There was one arcade in Vegas. I went to the HyperX Arena, of course, which that'll be a whole other thing. But
That wasn't really an arcade though.
no, but so that's in the Luxor, and I think it's in the Mandalay Bay. They do have like a they had or when I was there last, they had like a VR arcade type thing going on, which is nothing nostalgic about VR, but it was a really cool kind of setup that they had there. I think it was in the Mandalay Bay.
No, it's when you're going when you leave the Luxor and going back towards
The New
MGM.
York, and MGM and
No,
stuff. Is that where it
yeah.
was?
As
Okay,
soon as you come up that ramp, it's right
okay.
there.
I knew it was somewhere around that. I
Yeah,
couldn't
I know what
remember.
you're talking about because that's how we use it as a marker whenever we're trying to get back to it.
That's
We
yeah.
know
See, there you
like
go.
we have to pass. They have like the little like seats and stuff that you can sit in, and
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Like it's a
yeah.
whole
So
thing.
that's what you're talking about.
And you said barcade, and so that there was a place I went to in New York. I remember I went to New York by myself, and some of my family were like, "You going to New York by yourself? I'm so scared." Whatever, but I there was a place called Barcade, and I looked at where it was in conjunction with my hotel, and I could take the subway, and then I had to walk through some areas, and I didn't know where I was going. It was away from the touristy areas, but it was kind of like a rec bar here. Like it was a textbook
Yeah.
bar, but it had the super classic pinball machines, Donkey Kong, Galaga, but then it had like your Mortal Kombat. It had I remember I got super fired up because it had the 4-player Marvel game, not the like Turtles in Time, but was Marvel.
They
Um,
have that. They have it at Rec Bar.
do they really at the one by
Mhm.
you? Oh man, see, I need to go over there. I ain't been there forever, but yeah, it just in general, I feel like it's a new theme, at least in this episode where I talk about millennials ruling the world, but new arcades, chains, D&B, Main Event, etc. Like they do fine and they're successful enough, but these places that are popping up, pulling and thriving on millennial heartstrings, seem to be really blowing up. Because I mean, in general, you take me to a retro arcade compared to a D&B or something, I'm always going to prefer the old one.
Yeah.
I mean, so the then I think is much better than the now,
Yeah.
personally. So,
Fair enough.
all right. I think it's gonna cover it.
Yep, I think it's gonna bring us to our save point.
Yep. Let's go ahead and jump right in to our save point today. So, today we covered a lot, and it was another one. I feel like every time we start this, like, this won't be too bad. This won't be too bad.
Well, this
And
one I didn't say it as much this time because I kind of thought this one was gonna.
yeah, well, Disney
It's
is your
about things that we
jam.
both. Well, it's about things that we both like theme parks. I've went to theme parks a lot throughout my life. So
Yep. And then, I mean, all the convention stuff's fresh on my mind because we're getting ready for Lexington in a couple weeks. But,
yeah,
the whole thing about crowds, like I said, I will always despise them, but there are times that it is, in fact,
but you got to
worth it.
deal with them.
Yep. Yep. And so, yeah, it was a good time. Birthday episode again, which it's really funny. I keep bringing up my birthday because I actually kind of hate the idea of getting older sometimes, but in the grand scheme, I don't care. So, anyway, again, remember that it is St. Patrick's Day. So, remember to pinch anyone except for people whose birthday it is that's not wearing green.
It's not how that works.
It is how it works. Of course, always thank you all for listening and following up with us on anything. You can always get us on social media, the TikTok, the Instagram, YouTube, the email, the midnight release pod at gmail.com. And, we very much appreciate it. And, next week, as far as next week's episode is concerned, I think, are we going to quad next week?
It should be. It should be the quad episode, and it's going to be one that everyone. It needs to be a quad episode.
It does, without a doubt. And, this idea, actually, my mom brought it up. And I said, it's not really, there's nothing really nostalgic about it. We're talking about the MCU next week. So when Heroes Ruled the
And when
Box
we're talking
Office
about an
is what it's
MCU, we're
called.
talking about movie
cinematic
MCU.
universe. We're not talking comic. The first thing so we're gonna have Howie and Wayne next week, and first thing Howie said is, "Are we talking about the comics?" No, we are not. We are talking about the cinematic universe. But what's funny about it is when Mom brought that up, I was like, "Nah, it's just really nostalgic about the MCU." My brain thought that because of now and how it's still going, but the first Iron Man came out like in some of the era that we've been talking about. So yeah, next week, When Heroes Ruled the Box Office, is going to be a quad episode with Wayne and Howie again, where we're going to talk all things MCU related and Marvel and all that. So that's going to be next week. But outside of that, anything that I missed?
No, I think we're pretty good. I mean, again, thanks everyone for listening.
Very much appreciated, as always. Tune in next week when we get into some MCU goodness. Let us know your feedback as always. And remember, some memories are worth lining up for.